I'd like to call this meeting of the Herkimer County Legislature to order. I'd ask Ms. Jean Manine to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll ask that you remain standing for a moment of silence for our current and past veterans. Thank you. Clerk will call the roll.
Hartman.
Here.
Rose. Here. Schrader.
Here.
Manine.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Hendricks. Hyde.
Here.
Krasinski.
Here.
Mano.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Bono.
Here.
Ackerman.
Here.
Kaplinski. Gorse.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Weekly.
Roll is called. We're not in order. Pursuant to Rule 8, are there any objections or corrections to the minutes of the February 15th, 2012 meeting? If there are none, then I'll order them approved. Reading in full of claims disallowed by auditor and presented for audit by the legislature. There's nothing on the desk. Bear with me, folks, because I don't have a head cold here, so. We now have comment period by residents. I would ask that you hold your comments to 5 minutes, please, total 30 minutes. As there is no one signed up, we'll dispense with that part of the reading, that part of the proceedings. Communications received by the legislature and the committees to which they have been referred are listed on the agenda. Does any member of the legislature request mention of any particular communication at this time? Mr. Rose?
Mr. Chairman, I think I may have done what Mr. Hold on, I lost it. The number 87, please. Advising receiving notice of claim.
This is a matter of Tiffany A. Green, administratrix of the estate of William Michael Allen, deceased, versus County of Herkimer and Herkimer County Child Protective Services.
Mr. Corsi.
Yeah. Covered.
108.
108 also?
This is from Stefano Napolitano. Dear Chairman Bono, in recent correspondence from Budget Director Decker, I was informed that County Attorney Malone has requested I send a letter to the legislature and my immediate supervisor, Mr. Vanderwalker, in regard to my consultant relationship with Herkimer Area Resource Center. On June 16, 2011, I entered into a contract to sell advanced technologies to the Herkimer Area Resource Center. As a mechanism of business continuity, HARC retained my services as a consultant to provide guidance to them in this new business. As a consultant, I assist Advanced Technology HARC with business development, including marketing, advertising, product line development, education, training, and operation of safety equipment. I trust that this explanation will be sufficient for County Attorney's opinion regarding written disclosure of my consultant relationship with HARC. If you require further information, do not hesitate to contact me. This is Stefano.
It notes that it's going to the file. Does it go someplace to be reviewed if there is a conflict, or what happens with the individual disclosing? I guess, because not only specifically that, but in general. It says it goes to a file.
I defer to Mr. Malone.
That particular situation has been reviewed and by my office and an opinion rendered, and it was as a result of that opinion that the letter was submitted.
To disclose.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other communications to be read? Hearing none, we'll move on. We'll now continue with the consent agenda. Will the clerk please read the title of each resolution on the consent agenda?
The Public Safety Committee with the annual report of probation. 54 is natural resources and the report of director of weights and measures. 55 is public safety and emergency management with a monthly report of the sheriff. 56 is natural resources, setting public hearing on annual 30-day period for inclusion in agricultural land districts. 57, natural resources, setting date for a notice of public review on Ag District Number 6. 58 is human resources, ways and means, amending resolution 38 of 2012, and 59 is planning and development concerning membership on the Workforce Investment Board.
I'll ask for a motion to accept and approve the Consent agenda, Mr. Shaw, made a motion, second by Mr. Hyde. Any discussion? Mr. Harper.
I would just like to point out that the sheriff's report for the month of January reflects an average daily population of 52.7 inmates, and it's my recollection that the latest plan for a new facility is for 130 inmates. I see quite the disparity there.
Noted. Anyone else? Mr. Russell.
I just want it noted that there are no latest plans yet for a facility. It hasn't come to the legislature yet. When it does, then we can state how many cells that we're going to have. But it has not come to the legislature yet. Has there been discussion of 130? Yes.
Where?
When I was on the village board, I was in receipt of correspondences that were asking for services for 130 beds.
Counselor noted. Anyone else? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion will, or the resolution will pass. Now move on with the regular agenda, starting with number 60.
60 is Human Resources, Ways and Means authorizing contract with Country Manor for provision of meals and cost to guests for the aging.
This resolution authorizes an agreement with Country Manor for the provision of home-delivered meals from Middleville, Newport, Poland, Cold Brook, Ohio, and Old Forge areas. Do I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Shaw. Any discussion? Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Chairman, as I review this, I recognize that Country Manor is providing meals at a cost of $3, and there'll be other resolutions where we're talking $4.25, and I think there's even one that's over $5. 12,000 meals in 1 year, $38,500. What I'm concerned about is Country Manor's ability to continue to do it. And I listened to the committee meeting that the Citizens Group broadcast. I was not here for the committee meetings on the last week. And there was a discussion about reducing the population in Country Manor. And of course, I guess the committee sanctioned what had already, a decision that had already been made by a few in February to reduce the census. And I just wonder where we have the extra staff to continue this function with the meals while we don't have staff to take care of the people. And there was no analysis done on why we don't have the staff to take care of the people. How many staff are necessary for 20 people or 30 people or the 40 people or any combination there in between. And I wonder if there's been any conversation, it didn't appear to take place at the committee meeting, on Country Manor's ability to continue to render these services. Was there any discussion on Country Manor's ability to do it?
I would defer to Mr. Seymour on that. Tim, you want to answer that?
Certainly. Any staffing problems were not food service. We've never had any problem.
So we're not running overtime or out of title or anything for food service? I thought we were running overtime in food service. We're not?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I may be misinformed. So we have enough food service staff in Country Manor to pick up 12,000 meals a year, but we don't have then the support staff. I would assume that means aides and things like that to maintain a facility for 40 as we originally agreed to do.
At the present time, yes.
But we're budgeted for those positions.
We're not budgeted for all the positions.
So anything that we were budgeted for in this coming year, in December, we had more than 30 people in Country Manor.
And we're planning to correct it. I believe we left it open. We can revisit that at any time.
So we're recruiting? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
No.
Well, what are we revisiting then, in terms of?
When the proposal was made to cap the residents at 32, I believe we can revisit that at any time when we stabilize the staff.
Stable. I guess the question I would have, if we're spending this money on food.
The number of people
Trust the chair, Mrs. Rose.
is not germane.
I understand. That's my point. I was just going to make.
I believe.
Let's stay focused on.
I am. I want to come back to it. We have staff at Country Manor to cook an extra 12,000 meals a year at a price that is so significantly less than the open market. And I just have to wonder whether Country Manor isn't in some way, the Country Manor budget, subsidizing the Meals on Wheels program. I guess that's the bottom line on it. I know that we've talked about it before. Mr. Wallace said they reviewed it, but I have to believe when we recognize, for those that are interested in getting out of the service business, it's because it's expensive for us to do it, our fringe benefit package, et cetera. That why we can do it for $3 and not really be doing it on the backs of the Country Manor budget as a whole. And I don't know when it was recently reviewed.
Mr. Russell?
Well, so the question is, do we have more people in that kitchen doing the work that needs to be done? Do we have more people in the kitchen because we have these meals than we would normally have? Is that
I didn't hear that question asked the other night. I guess that question was asked and there's an answer. That would certainly aid me in my process.
I wonder what the answer is.
Is there anyone else?
Was there an answer to this question?
No.
There is no answer. So we don't know if we have more people in the kitchen than what we need to manage Country Manor.
How do you want to do? You want to table this, or do you want to continue
I
forward?
wanted an answer.
You want an answer. Why did you wait till tonight to get the answer?
Because I just reviewed the committee meeting yesterday, and
I can't help that.
well, I'm lucky
I've said
that the
this
citizens
before.
group taped it, so I could hear.
Well, fine. I've said this before. You get these resolutions 3 days in advance, and if you don't have the answers, shame on you. You should have these answers. You have a caucus. That's what we do in caucus. We go over our resolutions.
You know what the problem is? Nobody in our caucus is on those darn committees to really share the
It doesn't
inside
matter. You'll get
information.
your answers.
Your chairman just
I'm not
asked the
gonna
question,
go-
Mr. Bono. Mr. Russell just asked
Question
the
is being
question.
moved.
I move the
Well,
question.
Mr. Russell asked the
The question is
question.
being moved.
Your chairman
All
of
in
Ways and Means
favor?
asked the question, and you couldn't
I'm
answer.
sorry, I need a second. To move the question, Mr. Smith. Now we'll go on with the vote. I'm in favor of moving the vote, moving the question. Say aye.
Roll call, please.
Vote was taken. All those opposed, nay.
That vote wasn't complete, sir.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
There you go.
Mr. Chairman, it requires the two-thirds
Ms. Rose,
vote.
I'm running the meeting.
Point of order, please. Point of order.
No, you're not addressed. We're moving forward with
Mr.
this.
Chairman, I will ask for a parliamentary decision on what the count has
The
to be.
question
Move the
has been
question.
moved. The question has been moved. We will move forward. Thank you. Did it? Now my vote on the, now the vote on the resolution. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Nay.
No.
Two no votes. Voted. Moving on, number 61.
Resources, Ways and Means, awarding contracts for Meals on Wheels and conduit units to the Frankfurt Skyler area.
This resolution authorizes a contract to Little Falls Motel Associates for the Meals on Wheels program for the Frankfurt Skyler area. May I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Ackerman. Mrs. Minnie, Mr. Minnie. Any discussion? Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Chairman, we had a conversation a few months ago on the Meals on Wheels in the Frankfurt area that there was a waiting list. And I just wonder, does this allow, the amount of meals in this package allow for the people that were on that waiting list? Do we still have a waiting list in the Frankfurt area?
Mrs. Scanlon, you answer that, please?
There happens to be 3 couples on the Frankfurt Skyler group that are on the waiting list. This has nothing to do with the waiting list. The waiting list relates to the time frame and the ability of the driver to deliver those meals on this geographic group in a 2-hour time frame.
So in approving this, Mr. Chairman, we're still recognized that while we can approve this amount of money, we lack the capacity to address the waiting list at this point because of drivers, et cetera. Apparently is what I heard. Thank you.
Get your answer. Any other comments? Mr. Brzezinski.
Mr. Chairman, could you tell me how many meals actually they go into Skyler and how many meals go into Frankfurt?
I'll defer that to Mrs. Scanlon. Address the chair.
Okay, thank you.
Motion was made second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Number 62.
Human Resources, Ways and Means, concerning services in connection with expanded in-home services for the elderly program.
This resolution authorizes contracts between the Office of the Aging and At Home Care, the Department of Social Services, Home Aid Services of the Central Adirondacks, and Superior Home Health Care to provide services for the expanded in-home services for the elderly program. Do I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second. By Mr. Shaw, Mrs. Manini. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. The resolution passes. Number 63.
Human Resources, Ways and Means, renewal of contract with State Department of Health for the health plan.
This resolution authorizes renewal of a contract with the State Department of Health to receive funding for the Herkimer County Health Net. May I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second. Mr. Russell, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. The resolution passes. 64.
Administration, Veterans Affairs, Ways and Means, extending contracts for grants for board of elections.
This resolution authorizes grant extensions from Herkimer County Board of Elections as listed. May I have a motion? Mr. Shaw, second by Mrs. Manini. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 65.
Administration, Veterans Affairs, Ways and Means, execution of a contract for a grant for the board of elections.
This resolution authorizes a contract for receipt of a grant for the Herkimer County Board of Elections. May I have a motion? Mrs. Manini, second. Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. The resolution passes. Number 66.
Human Resources, Ways and Means, renewal of contract with State Department of Health for immunization.
This resolution authorizes renewal of a contract to receive from the State Department of Health for funding for the immunization action plan. May I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second. And Mr. Shaw. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 67.
Natural Resources, Ways and Means, approving agreement for laboratory services for the sewer district.
This resolution approves a sewer district resolution authorizing an agreement to provide laboratory services for the sewer district wastewater treatment plant. Motion by Mr. Hyde, second by Mr. Shaw. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 68.
Natural Resources, Ways and Means, approving contract increase for additional engineering services.
This resolution approves a sewer district resolution for a contract increase for engineering services for the belt press replacement project. May I have a motion? Mr. Hyde. Second by Mr. Shaw. Any discussion? Mr. Hart.
I understand that this was an ongoing project, so there wouldn't be new engineers hired, but just as part of my education, when we do engineering services like this, we send out RFPs, and was there somebody in Herkimer County, perhaps, that was a bit on this?
I believe that's the case, Mr. Wallace, for the sewer board, right?
Again, I couldn't answer that. It was not Mr. Harper until a while ago. But our usual process for our proposal is
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 69.
It's the Highway Committee and Ways and Means authorizing contract for engineering services for the Highway Department.
This resolution authorizes an agreement for consulting and engineering services related to the Hawthorne Road Bridge project replacement over Sterling Creek project. May I have a motion? Mr. Corr, second by Mr. Agnew. Any discussion? Mr. Harper.
Same question. This is more recent that we send out RFP.
Mr. York.
Yes, we sent out 3 requests for proposals, 3 consultants submitted price proposals for the project. All 3 qualified. They were off of a list of 15 that is established for our region. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'm sorry, debate? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Nay. Resolution will pass. Number 7.
Planning and Development, Ways and Means authorizing agreement with BOCES for WIA eligible out-of-school youth.
This resolution authorizes an agreement with BOCES to provide services to WIA eligible out-of-school youth in Herkimer County. May I have a motion? Mr. Shaw, second. Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 71.
Planning and Development and support of application for economic development assistance.
This resolution authorizes the chairman to sign necessary documents in connection with an application for economic development assistance to the Office of Community Renewal. May I have a motion? Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution will pass. Number 72.
Highways and Means are making an appropriation of funds in connection with county snow removal.
This resolution appropriates funds for the county road fund balance for county snow removal. May I have a motion? Mr. Kors. Second by Mr. Smith, Russell, and Shaw. Any discussion? Mr. Kors.
Shed some light on this, Mr. Chairman. Our snow removal contract is driven by sales tax receipts. What we budgeted was less than what the actual payment had to be. We had to make up the difference, so we're appropriating different funds.
Anything else? Roll call vote. Mrs. Milan, call the roll.
Manning.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Hyde.
Yes.
Krasinski.
Yes.
Dano. Smith. Bono.
Yes.
Ackerman. Corse.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Schrader.
Yes.
Unanimous. Resolution passes. 73.
Planning and Development Ways and Means extending grant limiting salary schedule and transfer funds.
This resolution extends a grant, amends the budget, and amends the salary schedule in connection with grant received from the State Office of Children and Family Services. May I have a motion? Mr. Russell, second by Mr. Smith and Shaw. Any discussion? Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Chairman, in reviewing the tape of this meeting, I believe I understood it to say that the current director of the program in youth is going to now, she's working 4 days a week, and this money will allow 5 days for the period of the grant. Is that correct?
What will happen, Mr. Williams, is the grant we were able to carry to March 31st, and $2 left will be able, number one, they allowed us to extend the grant to December 31st in case anybody's out there. So we were able to extend from 4 days to 5 days, March 31st to June 1st.
Is the 4 days covered by grant, and this is just an extension of the same grant?
One extra day is covered.
I guess the question would be, is the grant only to cover personal service? Could it have been used for anything else? I mean, the person.
We used it for other things, yes.
So the person has been working 4 days a week quite effectively?
Well, been working 5, we approved, this legislature approved the contract to go to from 4 days to 5 days.
That's what this resolution is?
Back a few months ago. Because of the extra funds there, we were able to extend that from March 31st to June 1st.
Okay. So it's a 4-day-a-week position routinely if we didn't have the grant. We got the grant to make it a 5-day position.
Well, we got the grant to do Ready by 21. You know, I'm sure you saw that we were recognized by the White House for everything we're doing. One of the big things, one of our next steps is that this program, we're running for in the state to receive the program. Basically, our staff, all departments are working very, very hard. Gina shepherding that through. Basically be able to monitor everything we're doing. To say, okay, here's our goal, here's our objectives, and then be able to measure and monitor that.
But we
Very,
won't,
very time consuming, an awful lot of hard work.
but we will only be able to keep around 5 days for how long now?
June 1st.
Till June 1st. And all that hard work is going to continue after June, and we don't have staff to do it, are we saying?
We'll continue to do, hopefully we've laid the foundation to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? So also roll call vote. Mrs. Milan.
Smith.
Yes.
Bono.
Yes.
Ackerman. Corse.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Schrader.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Hyde.
Yes.
Krasinski.
Yes.
Dano.
Yes.
14 unanimous. Resolution passes. Number 74.
Ways and Means extending and amending policies and procedures for purchase of goods.
This resolution adopts an extension and amendment of the policies and procedures for the purchase of goods and services and procurement policy.
So moved.
Mr. Russell, second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Chairman, I recognize that we have a resolution similar to this each year. I wonder if it would be possible, I did not have an opportunity to contrast this to the previous policy, if we could just have a quick synopsis of any significant changes between the two?
Mr. Decker, if you would.
Yeah, there's only really one minor change. It adds a requirement that contracts under $10,000 come to the purchasing department before they're signed, so they can review there.
And there's one other change where we dropped section 103B, just says section 103. Well, there's just a general municipal law to reference the whole law instead of just a section.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution will pass. Number 75.
Ways and Means authorizing extension of contract with County Daniel for assessment.
This resolution authorizing an extension of the town of Dania to provide assessment services. Motion by Mr. Russell, second. By Mr. Corse. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion will, the resolution passes. Number 76.
Contemplating development connection with the Herkimer County IDA project.
This resolution authorizes the chairman to confirm findings of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency in connection with the listed project. May I have a motion? Mr. Ackerman, second by Mr. Shaw. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can we get just a kind of a review of what this accomplishes for the county?
Jim, jump in if you wanted to.
Yeah,
have it in front of
again,
you.
I'm not an expert on this, but the purpose is that with the IDAs, there's certain things you can and you can't do. The reason we're able to do this is that the only new car dealer we have left in the county is Steve Honey. We've lost probably, I was talking with a dealer a while ago, we've probably lost $15 to $20 million in parts over all the dealerships we've lost over the years. That's why they put these exceptions in there. What we're allowing this to do is have the chairman sign it to say we meet the regulations. And the reason is we only have one car dealer.
Thank you.
This is a $2 million project that Steve Honey is putting forward. We look forward to working with them at the IDA and wish them good luck. Anyone else? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. Number 77.
Natural Resources designated member to the sewer board.
This resolution appoints Irene Sweet, mayor of the village of Mohawk, to the Herkimer County Sewer District Board for a term of 5 years. May I have a motion? Mr. Hyde, second by Mr. Shaw. Anyone else? Any discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Resolution passes. Number 78.
Human Resources, Ways and Means authorizing contracts with Kids Herkimer in connection with at-risk youth services.
This resolution authorizes contracts with Kids Herkimer to provide preventative programming and services in connection with at-risk youth. May I have a motion? Mr. Smith, second by Mrs. Manning and Mr. Shaw. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Be a little quicker.
Well, kind of look to your left, or your right, sir.
I did.
His hand was up and mine went
My head was
up.
up. Ms. Rhoda, my head was up.
Your head was up?
My head was up looking. I didn't see anyone, okay?
It's
I'm
a
running
huge,
the meeting.
it's a huge contract,
I'm
sir,
gonna
just
get it
to
straight.
push through like that.
Number 79, resolution passed.
Mr. Chairman, did we note that there was an extension?
Yes, one extension. Two no votes.
There were more than one extension, sir.
No.
I called the vote. It was
He said
taken.
no and I said no.
I didn't say no vote, I said abstain.
One extension. Let's move on. 79.
Administration, Veterans Affairs, Public Safety, Emergency Management, opposing anti-gun legislation in the sewer.
This resolution amends the list of officers and employees who are required to file annual financial disclosure forms. May I have a motion? Mrs. Minnie, second by Mr. Hyde. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nay. The resolution passes. Number 81.
Administration, Veterans Affairs, opposing anti-gun legislation.
This resolution opposes the passage of anti-gun legislation in the New York State Legislature. May I have a motion? Mr. Hyde, Ms. Manine, second? I'm sorry. Ms. Manine will take a second.
Yeah.
Ms. Manine will take a second. Any discussion? Mr. Hartman?
Yeah, and I know I'll be accused of being anti-Remington arms. That is not the case, never has been the case throughout my life. I did check online again here a couple minutes ago. I don't see how they'll be affected in a major way because the proposed legislation that I haven't seen, and I don't know if anybody else has, but any information I got from sources says for semi-automatic pistols only, so that it's not going to affect hunters, and I don't think it'll make a major dent in Remington Arms, since I couldn't find any semi-automatic pistols on that site.
But correct you, Remington Arms does make the model 1911. They're there.
Okay, I was
So
going to
it
say.
will affect them, sir.
And one reason I can't support this is because, number one, I haven't seen the proposed legislation, even though I may have had 3 days. There is information that it significantly raises the ability to catch the shooter from approximately 2% to 54% success rate. There are 100 New York State mayors, 83 police departments, New York State Association of Police Chiefs, the District Attorneys Association, and the New York State Fraternal Order of Police are supporting this. So I think there is some merit, and based on what I know now, I'm going to vote no, and I'm still a very strong supporter of the arms and hunters.
I'm going to tell you, anyone else before I leave my? I'm going to tell you what I know. There's a possibility that this could go through on the governor's budget. They're trying to sneak it through. And as far as legislation goes, this would as far as technology goes, it's not out there. Contrary to what proponents of this bill are preaching, the technology isn't there. They're claiming that Remington Arms has that technology. A letter has been sent from Remington saying that that technology doesn't exist, and they're not working on it. So this is a preemptive resolution, and we've done this in the past, and I support Remington and all their efforts. So we'll call them. We'll call the vote. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, nay?
No.
One no vote, sorry. Resolution passes. Number 81.
Properties concerning inclusion of parcels in county land auction.
This resolution authorizes the sale at the next in-rem auction of the parcels as listed. May I have a motion? Mr. Schrader, second by Mr. Forrest and Mr. Hyde. Any discussion? Mrs. Rose.
Mr. Chairman, is this the land that was pulled from the NREM the last time that had the logs on it? Is this the log land, that the watershed property? I recall when this was...
I'll defer to Mr. Do you want that answer?
Yeah, I think somebody nodded.
I'm sorry, I was looking at something else. The question was?
This resolution addresses the property that was pulled in the last NREM, No, actually, it says in 2008 NREM.
It joins the City of Little Falls watershed property.
Right.
It intrudes into it, yes.
So we expended money at the time when it was pulled because the conversation was that it had valuable lumber. And because I had received several calls when it was pulled from people who were irate and were interested themselves in bidding on it. And so we went to the expense of having somebody, whoever does it, go in and evaluate the land. And then we didn't sell it, we didn't log it, and the comment from the then chairman of the Properties Committee was he was holding it all until the price of lumber went up. I did hear on at the Properties Committee meeting now that it's best to get it back on the rolls. Let's find out what the market will be out there and let it go. And I'm not against that. I just think that we should take some lesson from when we start pulling property sometimes. This was pulled rather quickly, just before it was actually in the documents, I think, and then pulled, which gave concern to some of the people in the community that identified it as something of interest. And I would hope that in the future we have a more thorough reason why in this particular case we pulled it. Little Falls was interested in it, it had value, and so there it sat since 2008 with nothing happening. And I don't think that it was wise use of our resources, so that's just a commentary. Thank you.
That's right.
Just wanted to mention this also includes the parcel in the town of German Flat. Town of German Flat made a request because they were making an application for a grant to do some remedial work in Fulmer Creek, and it fell through, so they're backing out of there.
Mr. Malone has a correction he wants to make.
Mr. Chairman, I think there should be a correction in the last whereas clause where we should switch. Where it says Town of Durham Flats, it should say Citadel Falls, and where it says Citadel Falls, it should say Town of Durham Flats. And that's my fault. So it should say this legislature is now advised that the Citadel Falls has not reached an agreement regarding its parcel, and the Town of Durham Flats is no longer interested in its parcel, which I think is accurate. The other way is the opposite of accurate, whatever that is.
I'll entertain a motion. Motion to amend. Mr. Russell, second by Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Okay, to make the amendment, discussion. All those in favor of the amendment? Well, I don't know if it's a roll call on that, or is it? No. Okay.
Can you
All
read
those
that
in-
amendment? Can you read the amendment?
I can just read the whereas.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Whereas the legislature is now advised that the town of City Little Falls has not reached an agreement regarding its parcel, and the town of Durham Flats is no longer interested in its parcel.
Amendment is read. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Nay. Amendment made. Go ahead.
Either municipality may bid on these parcels if they have an interest by auction rate.
Correct. I need a vote on the resolution. All those in favor? Aye. I'm sorry, roll call. Mr. Willett.
Romano.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Bono.
Yes.
Ackerman.
No.
Gorse.
Yes.
Russell.
Yeah.
Shaw.
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Rose. Yes. Schrader.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Hyde.
Yes.
Krasinski.
Yes.
13 yes, resolution passes. Number 82.
Is properties concerning premises in the village of Mohawk.
This resolution authorizes the contract with the Village of Mohawk in connection with the premises listed. May I have a motion? Mr. Hyde, second by Mr. Corson and Mr. Ackerman. Mr. Schrader. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Resolution passes. We'll now go to, oh, I'm sorry, was it roll call? Call the roll.
Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Hartman.
Yes.
Rose. Yes. Schrader.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Hyde.
Yes.
Krasinski.
Yes.
Dano.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Bono.
Yes.
Ackerman.
Yes.
Gorse.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
That concludes the resolution phase. I apologize for not going over the committee. I missed the synopsis on the committee progress that we made, so we'll do that next time. Comments by legislature, we'll go to that. Mr. Forrest?
Mr. Chairman, as far as communications, number 98 was the resignation of Mary Ann Barbuda was director of full property transfer. And I'd like to recognize Mary Ann. She's done a fine job for the county. In some of the bigger townships where assessing services are a full-time thing, people can get answers. In some of the smaller townships where an assessor may be part-time or in a more limited capacity, people have been very comfortable calling the county and getting answers. And that says a lot about how Mary Ann went about doing her job. And I really want to thank her.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. I get it on my list. I want to thank Mary Ann, who is chairman. On behalf of the residents of Herkimer County, we appreciate the work, the dedicated time you put into your job. And Nick, congratulations. Enjoy your retirement. Mr. Brzezinski.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to comment too in regards to Mary Ann. Many times I've called down there with questions, sometimes some real doozy questions. Professional. She's very, very professional. And Mary Ann, I'm going to miss you. Thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Harper.
Yes, nobody saw my hand earlier. I did have some questions on this. Well, I won't ask questions now because I can't. But the kids Herkimer contract. I know they do a wonderful program and they're a wonderful group, and I haven't had a chance to talk to any of the other groups. I don't know if anybody else in this room has either. But at any rate, the last committee meeting, I asked a number of questions, and so did Mr. Schrader and Mr. Russell, because it seemed to me, and I believe others, that we were comparing prices that were, these people were bidding on different things. We weren't comparing apples to apples. One company was bidding for the year for 6 kids, another company was bidding for a year for 8 kids, another company was bidding for each. And I could be wrong, and I'll look at the film, but I thought we were going to get some kind of clarification, and I understand I had 3 days, but I guess I was expecting to actually receive it since there were more questions rather than calling within the 3 days. So, I mean, doing the math here, it seemed like one contract was, the contract we accepted, at least from the figures we got, was $10,000 more than another bidder. And perhaps it could have been explained better. These figures could be wrong that were handed out, and it could be explained better why somebody quoted $675 per diagnostic test, another one quoted $14,000, $850 for a year apparently, and it's supposed to be average 6 kids. You do the math, it doesn't add up, and I guess I was really confused because I know when the village sent out RFPs, if we asked for something in gallons or annually, we wouldn't get it gallons, we wouldn't get something in feet. If we asked for annual, we wouldn't get a daily charge. So I'm just kind of surprised that without all that information forthcoming, and it was asked a week ago, that we passed this so quickly. And I'd be curious to know if anybody talked to these other groups that submitted RFPs. Did anybody meet with them? Because I believe we met with Kids on Night or Kids Certain or something. Did we meet with the other?
Subsequently?
I think, well, yeah, after they sent in their RFPs. Because there seemed to be a lot of questions on what they're quoting. I would think that somebody would want to meet with them and ask them exactly what they're quoting.
That's your comment. Let me state something. 3 days is a formality, okay? If you have questions before that, pick up the phone.
I can do that, and I have done that.
Don't wait till tonight.
Believe it or not,
I don't know why people wait till tonight to get their answers.
well, I asked the questions a week ago from tonight, and I still haven't gotten the answer.
Pick up the phone the next day, call the department head, call Mr. Wallace, call myself, don't wait till tonight.
And frankly, when I
I'm
go
just saying
through,
that, Gary.
frankly, if I go to a public meeting and I go through this stuff, and actually some of these resolutions were new and given to me tonight, something may pop out at me tonight.
I can't help it.
And I may want to ask a question in public that I didn't get answered in private, and it's my right to do that, and my constituents tend
Most
to
of us were here for
appreciate
those
it.
meetings, and I understand, people have things that come up and can't make meetings, but it's your job. When I took this chair, I said, I will not deny you any information, but it's your responsibility to get that information.
And you
If
bet
somebody
I will.
denies you that information, you let me know.
You bet I will get it.
And that's all I'm saying. Let's get that clear. You're not denied any information. It's your responsibility as legislator to do that.
And it's actually my right to ask these questions tonight if I'd like to.
Absolutely. Any other comments?
And I just got one quick comment on Country Manor.
Go ahead.
I have nothing against Meals on Wheels. I've worked against that contract. I do have a problem with nobody being able to answer whether Country Manor budget is subsidizing something else. There was no answer there. And so Meals on Wheels, I think, is one of the greatest things there was. My mom and others took advantage of that, and it's a wonderful thing and helps people stay home. I have a problem with the process and the fact that there weren't answers regardless of when they were asked. Country Manor, I think it's very important that we take our time and do this correctly. I know there's mentions of 3 proposals. I would hope that we send out RFPs and perhaps get more, and we give adequate time to make sure that whoever is there now is taken care of.
Mr. Russell.
Yeah, just from a procedural end, the question in regards to the Country Manor and whether there was enough staffing there, etc., it wasn't answered because it wasn't germane to the resolution.
If you asked if you could support all those meals, that was the resolution. I think that's what was asked.
Now, in regard
Please, I don't, we shouldn't debate this. This is legislators' comments, so please just make your comments. If you want to debate this, refer it to the appropriate committee. And Mrs. Rose.
I find that an interesting comment. I wasn't going to address that, but that this is not to debate it, so we want to make certain that the kind of meetings that we have here flow so smoothly as to not have dissension. Do it in the committee. Thank God for this young man over here in the citizens group that's allowing the broadcasting of those committee meetings. The issue that I would have on the Kids Herkimer program, that had there been an opportunity faster on the draw to ask the question, I did ask for a copy of the RFP because I watched the tape, and it seemed to me that, and I believe you, Mr. Chairman, indicated that you were supporting it because you were supporting the recommendation of the department. The problem I had with the recommendation of the department, it was based more about their outstanding working relationship with Kids Herkimer, because they've been involved with them, and really didn't address whether there were other certified licensed agencies that could provide equal service. I can appreciate that you can draw comfort in working. It's like having an old shoe. You're comfortable working with someone that you've worked with, and it takes more energy to change it out. However, there were discrepancies in the bids that were not satisfactorily answered. The way the various proposals came in, am I going to do 6 kids or 8 kids or 12 kids? I am surprised that in a review of proposals that the vendors, the bidders were not asked to come in and give a proposal. When you were going to sell the public health department, you had people come in and give proposals to you. I'm interested in the fact that we had, and this is not to impugn the people in the social services department, we had agencies who are certified. I think Mr. Porce the other night had made the comment, these people are certified, they're going to be held accountable. Any one of these agencies, one would surmise that they can do that. So when there is such a discrepancy in what someone is bidding on, I think there's a question. There's a managed risk program, which was a lot of money, and I think from the committee meeting, the decision was made they're going to investigate it more fully. I don't think any authorization was to spend any money in that. I would assume come back before the committee. The diagnostics, I don't believe was addressed in this resolution at all, nor were the fee for services. I would like to understand that, and I will talk to Mr. Seymour to get that clear. I think the only thing that our resolution did today was to do the intensive program, the family reunification, and the return home and readiness assessment, those components. The rest of them, I don't think any action was taken, so hopefully we would have an opportunity to explore that more fully, and I would encourage the department head to have conversation with those that have bid to be certain that we more clearly understand what they were bidding. And I think our proposal allowed for that dialogue. It actually suggested in the request for proposal that they might be requested to come in, and I'm disappointed that that didn't happen. As far as Country Manor is concerned, I did attempt to seek information on this last month. I had received a call from an individual who was involved in trying to place someone in Country Manor, and they had really assumed that it was going to happen. And then, very close to the 11th hour, we're told that admissions were shut down. I wrote an email, I think to yourself, and perhaps to Mr. Smith and others, to say, is this true? How did this happen? And the answer I got was, I think Mr. Bono, you were talking with Mr. Seymour, and it was decided. And I thought, how does 2 people or 3, or even if there were 4 of you, decide to close down a country program, a county program, a program that was budgeted, that the citizens were presented with a budget that funded Country Manor.
They didn't close it down. Let's get it clear.
Shut down admissions. Shut down admissions. We budgeted a program for 40, is what was in the budget that our taxpayers were taxed for. And someplace along the lines, prior to the meeting last week, it was decided by somebody or a group of buddies to shut off admissions because of some staffing issue that really wasn't quantified at all the other night. There was no money discussed. There was no discussion about how many staff we lost and what the impact of that was. We know that if they're not private pay, we get what, half reimbursement? And so is there any economies of scale? Is 32 the magic number that to go any higher? None of those questions were asked. I had them, I wasn't here for it. And as you point out, you have your caucuses, you discuss it. Maybe you covered those things in caucus, but they weren't certainly covered at the committee meeting. And to know that a program that is fully budgeted can be diminished, I guess I won't say shut down, diminished by the actions of just a very few. I don't know where the authority came to do that. Granted, you got a sanction of your committee the other night. It didn't come before this full legislature. We haven't voted to say shut down admissions at Herkimer.
You want to reopen the debate?
I want to know why it wasn't voted on here tonight.
Go to Mr. Smith's committee. Reopen it.
No, how does the committee have the authority to do it? That's my question to you. The full legislature voted to reduce that census to 40. Where did you get the authority to reduce it to 32? It may be a perfect number.
The vote was taken in
No, you did it before the vote was taken last week. You shut it down in February. The admissions were shut down in February.
Shut down and it was discussed that night.
Not at the committee, it wasn't. It wasn't discussed until March 12th. Mr. Chairman, I sent you an email and asked you about it, and you said you had a conversation.
Make your comments.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm not answering questions.
Oh, you don't take questions from
You should
legislators.
have told me this before, Mrs. Rose.
I sent an email. I said, I want to know at what authority.
And I got back to you because the staffing,
But what authority, sir?
The staffing requirements are dealt with the administrative, right? Yes.
Correct.
Okay? We didn't have people to process them. Okay? It's got nothing to do with the kitchen or anything else.
With all due respect,
I'm not
you
gonna bring
as
this up.
chairman
The
is
debate was held and the vote was taken.
Well, why wasn't it done at this full legislature? You did it when you reduced it from 80
It
to
was
40.
brought up into the committee level, and we passed it and moved it on.
We budgeted.
Then why
This
did you say-
legislature voted to budget a program at 40, sir. I'm asking you, what authority did you have to do it in a committee and not bring it before? There's no doubt in my mind you're going to get your votes in this room. So I don't know why you're not bringing it before the full legislature to vote. That's my question. Country Manor, right now, we've had all kinds of debate, executive session.
I agree, you're opening debate again. And we
I'm going to make a comment.
No, you've made your comment.
No, I have another one. I have another one, sir. The comment that I would make now is you have entertained proposals. At your public session the other day, I think Mr. Wallace was quoted as saying 3 interested parties in Country Manor. There has not been a full disclosure about what that means to the people that live in the place or to the staff that are there. It is, Mr. Hartman had just asked, can we do an RFP? The 3 proposals that I believe you're entertaining,
2, we haven't had a...
Mr. Wallace said 3 the other night.
We're working. The 3rd has not come in.
Okay, the question that, the issue that I would raise is have an RFP go out, as Mr. Hartman suggested. You did it before I got on the legislature, so it's 2006 or 2007 or whenever you did it. These particular people that you're entertaining proposals from maybe weren't around then, and maybe there are others. We shouldn't think we're so omnipotent that we know everybody that's out there that might be interested.
When does it end? When does it end?
Well, why would you privately entertain?
No. Entertain it with Mr. Smith's committee and...
I don't get to convene that committee, sir.
Doesn't matter. You're still allowed that privilege of talking to Mr. Smith and getting in on the agenda. You're not being denied anything.
Yes, you are.
No,
yes,
you're not.
Absolutely you are.
That's your
Absolutely
mind.
you are.
That's it. Move on.
You want it to be a nice, smooth
Any other
conversation.
comments by any other legislator? Mr. Shaw.
We did put a pretty good meeting on at the Norway town meeting. We had the IDA come up and we had small businesses there from Mannheim, Russia, Newport, Norway, and Fairfield. And I want to thank the Town of Norway for hosting the meeting. And a couple comments I got after the meeting was over the next day or two. We're very impressed with the presentation that was given, and we planted some seeds, so we'll see what grows. And also, Norway will be sponsoring a dinner on all-you-can-eat spaghetti and supper, March 24th, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock for $6, $3 for children 12 and under. So anybody wants a good meal, it's to benefit the Historical Society.
Any other comments? Any other legislators? I got one comment, or a couple actually. I just want to say, you know, the White House Council on Community Solutions gave us a very prestigious award. I know that I mentioned this before, but I just want to give high kudos to some of the people involved. I didn't say that last time, but I said it in general, but I just want to be specific. Darlene Hammond, who does a great job for us downstairs, she's the person who takes all the information, and that's what the gist of this award was, taking that information and using it. Darlene's done a great job along with Gina Giacovelli, Tim Seymour, probation, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our own county administrator, Jim Wallace, who's been preaching this for the longest time. Keep these kids out of the homes, save us money. So I want to say thank you to all those people. And Jim, if I missed anyone else.
Along with public health.
Mental health, Office of the Aging, everybody, not Office of the Aging. But,
no, Mary's very active.
But I know Mary supports it. Everybody involved. It was a group effort. This county should be very proud of that accolade. Very prestigious award. You know, we went to bat with some big metropolitan areas, the Chicagos, the Memphis, Philadelphia, PA, San Joaquin, San Jose, all big cities. And here's little Herkimer County getting this award. So again, thank you, Jim, Darlene, everybody, the whole Gina, everybody, the whole group. So you should be proud, and we're very proud to have you as employees. St. Joseph St. Anthony's Crusaders is having a wine tasting event up at the college at 6 o'clock on, I believe, this Saturday. It's a great event, a lot of local homemade winemakers. If you like wine and you want to have a tasting, it's very cheap, and go up there and support that crowd if you could. Mr. Shaw.
One thing I forgot, the Swirl Conservation Dinner. The annual dinner is going to be Monday night, and it starts at 6. So anybody interested in going to that, please notify Swirl Conservation.
Anyone else? Mrs. Minnie.
Yes, and I'd like to also say that Catholic Charities is sponsoring a breakfast on April 1st, Sunday, to help fund the emergency assistance program.
You'll be waiting again.
Yes.
Anyone else? Mr. Russell.
Just want to send well wishes to Mr. Poplinski.
Absolutely. We just talked to him. He's doing well. So. Anyone else? Mr. Mayo.
Well, if there's no further business, I move we adjourn to April 4th at 2 p.m. for our next quarterly meeting. And there's going to be a public hearing on the open enrollment for agricultural districts at 1:45.
Motion made, second. We're adjourned. Thank you.